Assalamu alaikum students. I hope you all are fine. I am your computer science teacher Adila Saftar, and in this video lecture we will study chapter number 1, the data processing cycle. All of you know that in 7th class your book for computer science is Write Byte 2. Please open the content page. From page number 2 your chapter number 1 starts. And in this lecture we will go through pages 3, 4, 5 and 6, and our objectives are stages involved in the data processing cycle and different forms of processed data. Now before starting the chapter we will first try to know the meanings of words data and processing. Data means any type of information or knowledge which is in its unprocessed form, while processing is transformation of raw data into meaningful information to be understood by the users. Now I will try to explain these two terms through an example. A series of numbers like 35, 34, 33, 32 is data because we do not know what these numbers mean or what to do with them. But if we know that these numbers are the temperatures for the past 5 days, we understand that the weather is becoming cooler. The data has now become information. Now open page number 3 of your book. On this page you can see our first topic is stages of data processing cycle. Students, all of you know that computer processes data into useful information. We input raw data, computer performs processes on this data, and we get an output. This output is in the form of useful information. This is known as linear data processing process. Students, these input, processing, output, and storage functions are all connected to each other, which takes place in a sequence. The data processing cycle describes this sequence of steps for converting data into useful information. Now one by one we will study about the input stage, the processing stage, and the output stage. The first stage in the data processing cycle is the input stage. The input stage is a stage when data is fed into a data processing system to be converted into information. Students, can you tell me name of some of the input devices? You already have read about these input devices in your previous classes. Yes, very good. Keyboard, mouse, touch screen of your mobile, laptop, barcode reader, scanner, all these are examples of input devices. Students, on page number 3 in the paragraph of the input stage, please write down a question. The question is, write about the input stage of data processing cycle. Mark its answer from the second line till third line of the same paragraph. Students, the input stage contains 5 activities. We will study about these 5 activities one by one. The first one is data collection. Data collection is the stage of gathering or collecting data from the environment and preparing it for input. The second activity is data capture. Data capture is the stage of entering the collecting data into a data processing system such as computer. The third activity involves is encoding. Encoding means converting data into a form that is easier to input into a data processing system. The fourth activity is data transmission. Data transmission is the stage of sending input data into a processor and carrying it across its various components. It also involves carrying data from the processor to the output device. The fifth and last activity which involves the input stage is data communications. Data communications is the set of activities that allow data to be sent from one data processing system to another. Students, all these points are on page number 4 of your book. Please highlight these points. as they are very important for short question answer or objectives for your exams. The second stage, which involves the data processing cycle, is the processing stage. The processing stage is where raw data is transformed into meaningful information to be understood by the users. Now students, who are users? Users are the people who are using that useful information. Modern data processing systems such as computers follow instructions called programs to process data. Typical programs include computer operating systems, word processors, spreadsheets, web browsers, and so on. Now students, what are programs? A computer program is a collection of instructions that can be executed by a computer to perform a specific task. Another term, spreadsheets, is used over here. Spreadsheet is an electronic document in which data is arranged in rows and columns, and it can be used in calculations. So students, in the processing stage, the computer performs some specific operations on the raw data given by the user. I hope students these two stages are now clear to you. Now write down short question answers for this paragraph on page number 4. Write question number 2. What happens in the processing stage? Mark its answer from the start of the paragraph till second line. Write question number 3 on the same page. Define programs and give its examples. Mark its answer just where we ended the answer of second question, modern data processing system, from here till end of the paragraph. Now students, the third stage which is involved in the data processing cycle is the output stage. The output stage is where information or processed data is presented to users. Output is presented through several output devices like printers, monitors, and speakers. After users have viewed output, they can understand what the data means and make decisions on the basis of their understanding. This is called decoding. Students, you must know about barcodes. You can see one at the back of your book. This barcode is having hidden code which is read by a barcode reader, which you must have seen at various shopping malls. These barcode readers decode the information hidden in the barcode and send it as useful information to the computer. So we can understand decoding occurs when the information that a code represents is available to the users. Consider an example that we have encoded our data SA in our computer, which stands for Shahid Ali. So whenever we will enter SA, the computer will do processing. It will decode SA and displays the name Shahid Ali on the computer. This is called decoding. Students, on the paragraph of the output stage, write question number 4. What happens in output stage? Mark its answer from the start of paragraph till second line. Write question number 5. Explain decoding. Mark its answer just where you ended your answer number 4 till the end of this paragraph. Students, all of you know that add-ons are very important. You can see on page number 5, there is an add-on, which is information about products is stored in encoded form as a barcode. I have explained this to you. Now the fourth stage, which is very important, is the storage stage. The storage is where information is stored so that it can be used later. Students, we all know that we give raw data through an input device to a computer. Computer do processing on it, and we, the users, can have that processed data through output devices as an information. This information can be stored in hard drive, or USB and can be collected whenever it is needed by any end user. This whole process is known as data processing cycle. Now students, we will try to learn about different forms of processed data. The first one is the sorted data. Sorting means organizing data according to some predefined criteria. The criteria may differ according to preferences and the use of information. For example, a teacher may want a list of students' names arranged alphabetically. The second form of processed data is grouped data. Grouping means placing data items in separate groups so that all members of a group have something in common. A data processing system might be able to group all students of class 5 in one group and all students of class 6 in another group. In this figure, you can see random numbers. When we group these numbers, we can say that from group number 1 till 20 will have 5 items, and from group number 21 till 40 will have 3 items. Now the third form of processed data is calculations. Students, all of you know about these arithmetic symbols which perform some specific calculations. These can be used by computers to convert a raw data into useful informations. Users can also create pie charts or graphs to display their data using computers, as computers are highly efficient at performing calculations. Now students, I have designed an activity for you in which you will practically know about stages of data processing system or cycle and different forms of processed data. The activity is, please collect random data about the students, write their names, ages, phone numbers, etc. and enter it into your computer. You will group and organize this data in two different ways according to your preference. Hopefully students, you have understood today's lecture. We will come up with another video lecture covering the remaining chapter. Till that time, thank you so much and stay home, stay safe.